Yes, people, this is your girl Aleisha Lee and welcome back to another episode of Aleisha Lee Reviews. In this episode, we are reviewing Top Boy, Season 3, Episode 4, The Food is Killing Us. Let's get into this. We start this episode at Jeffery's house. The cleaner arrives ready to start doing her job, and that is when she discovers Jeffery's body. We then see Sully. He is on his way to drop off the bags at a location, and he pays the person that is at the home to hold the bags. She says, wow, this is a bit more than usual. And he's like, well, you know, the risk is higher, so the money is higher. She's happy to hold it. She's happy for the rise as well. And off he goes. We then see him make a call to Kieran, letting him know the drop and when to come and collect. Dushane goes to visit his lawyer once again to find out the update on where Lizzie and Life are, and the lawyer lets him know that it's going to cost him another 20 racks. Wow. Obviously, Dushane is going mad now. He said the minute he finds it, make sure you let me know. After he's there paying up how much money and all, now we don't have update. Remember, I said in the last episode, I'm starting to think this money's going to the lawyer, but we see him make a call. He lets that person know that Dushane is up for it and to get in touch with him as soon as he gets any more news. Next, we see Kieran. He is at the house taking what he needs to take after Sully gave him the call. He does what he needs to do and makes his way out the back. Kieran starts to distribute the food between the workers. Next, we see Mandy is in the market buying some bits. That's when she sees one of the schoolgirls that she knows, and she follows her to see where she's going and sees that she is going to pick up food from the workers. That is when Mandy confronts Kieran and just says to him, after all that we done for you, this is what you're going to continue to do. We rode out for you to make sure that immigration didn't take you, and this is how you want to repay us. Kieran is feeling a bit embarrassed about the situation because he knows that Mandy's got a point. You can see how disappointed Mandy is, and right now she's feeling like all of their hard work, what was the point if he was going to continue doing what he's doing? Next, we see Stefan. He is at the park at the special bench, and it's just so sad because remember from the previous seasons we used to see all three brothers together on the bench, and now it's just Stefan alone. But he doesn't feel alone because he is having a chat with Jamie, letting him know and giving him the update on what's been going on with him and Erin, and just letting him know that he's taken heed on the advice that he's given him in terms of being safe. And yeah, it was just a nice scene. It was nice to see, and it just made you feel for Steph even more. You're starting to see that he's having to grow up on his own from having both of his brothers there to being alone, but I think Stefan will be just fine. Next, we see Mandy has reached JAQ's house and they are having a chat. She lets her know that she's bought her some food and some fruit, and JAQ appreciates it. They begin to talk. Mandy asks where's the baby, and JAQ explains that the baby is with Bex at her house, and JAQ just needed some time to be alone. But Mandy's trying to explain to her that isolating herself, you know, isn't always the best bet. Now things get heated when Mandy lets JAQ know that Lauren's death is on her. Lauren's death is down to the drugs that she sells, and that is when JAQ gives Mandy a slap. When I tell you I wasn't expecting, I said, huh? And Mandy lets her know that slapping her ain't gonna change anything, and that is when JAQ loses it and tells her to get out of her yard now. Oh, I wasn't ready for that. I did not expect it, but Mandy, she played it cool. She understands what's going on, because anyone getting a slap like that could have easily just went for JAQ as well. But Mandy just keeping it calm and collected. She just makes her way out. But before she leaves, she says to JAQ, it's too late for Lauren, but it's not too late for her baby. I.e., JAQ, you better get it together. Next, we see Shelly. It looks like she is contemplating something, and yeah, after the last episode, I think Shelly is fed up with Dushane, if I'm honest, and it looks like she's going to make a big decision. Next, we see Erin and Stefan, And yes, they take their relationship to the next level. After last episode where they went to go and make sure that they are cool and checked out, now they have decided to take things to the next level. Now we see JAQ has reached the rest of the man them on the strip, and that is where we see that customer is back, the one that has the baby. She is back to get her fix, and that is where JAQ starts to question her and says, where is the baby? Because she notices that in the pram there ain't no baby. She insists that she takes her to where the baby is, and she's saying that the baby's with her mum, but we know that ain't the case. JAQ says that she'll give her one on the house if she takes her to her baby, and that's exactly what they do. Now when JAQ gets to the flat, she is just absolutely, you can see the horror on her face. She can't believe the way that the woman is living. And then on top of that, her baby is on the floor. Yes, she left her baby on the floor while she went out to get her supply. JAQ has to tell her multiple times to take her baby off the floor because the woman is so much more focused on getting her fix than to look and see about the baby, until JAQ says, go and pick your picnic up off the floor. It's a terrible sight, and I think this is making JAQ realize how devastating the effects are of the job that she is involved in. This is what her job involves. She is supplying to these people who are living in these types of conditions, and it's having an effect on their children. When JAQ gets back into the car, you can see the devastation. She is crying. Kieran is asking her what's up, and she just wants to go home. She says just take her to her place. This is really hitting her, especially now after the loss of her sister, and now seeing how this woman's been living as well and what her child is having to endure at such a young age. It's just too much for JAQ. When Kieran goes to drop off JAQ, she asks him some questions, asking about where Sully and Dushane got the food from, saying if they got it from the Irish, and Kieran confirms that. She also asks where the drop-off was it Stamford Hill or near Highbury? And he says near Highbury. That's got us thinking, why is JAQ asking these questions? Especially when Kieran drops her off and he drives off, we see that JAQ doesn't go in the house. We see that she starts to make moves towards her car. Next, we see Mandy is back at home. She's calling for Erin, and her and Stefan, they need to get ready quick. They make their way downstairs, and Mandy knows that they ain't been doing no homework. They say they've been doing homework, but Mandy can see and tell that something more than homework was going on. Dushane arrives home and he is met by Shelly packing. Yes, Shelly, she's had enough. She is off, and that is when Dushane starts to ask some serious questions. Why are you leaving? Like, what's going on? And he also says, if he got the money today, if the money was there, would she be leaving? And that's a good question, because Shelly, she's just completely had enough of Dushane. She really has. But he's made a good point there. If he had the money, if he got the money today, would she leave? But she insists that it isn't about the money. She just has come to the realization that he just loves the money, the power more than her, and it will always be that way, and she does not have time for it. She is off. Dushane reminds Shelly of the things that she said when they first met at his mum's, that she would be riding, she understands him, and she says that's exactly why she's leaving, because she does understand him. She knows what this life comes with, and she doesn't want to be around it, and she doesn't want her daughter around it either. After Shelly leaves, we see Dushane take a drink. He's probably had enough. He's just having a bad few days, bad week. As Dushane is having a drink, we see that the police are at Jeffery's, the forensics are there, and they mention they've got a good print on that pan that they know was used as the murder weapon. And it's about to get even more sticky for Dushane, because he did not do a very good job of cleaning up that mess. He did not. You could tell at that point he was absolutely finished. He wasn't thinking straight. Things aren't going to be looking too good for Dushane. We are now with JAQ. We can see that she is outside of the house, that Sully left the food, and these times I'm thinking, what is JAQ really going to do? but we see that Jack is there to rob the food. I can't believe it. Now, this is just so left field for Jack. Why would she be robbing the food? I don't think she's thinking straight. I think after what she's just seen at that woman's home with how she's treating her kid and seeing the way that the job that she does and what they do affects the wider community, she goes into the house, she breaks in from the back and she makes her way to get that food. She uses a tool to get in there, she takes the food, and as she takes the food, that is when the woman that is in the house comes down and she tries to run away, but Jack gets her and gives her a gun buck, knocking her out. Jack makes her escape, and I'm in shock. I can't believe that Jack is pulling this move. Back at home with Mandy, Erin and Stefan, Mandy is laying down some rules for the couple. She says to them, be kind to each other, respect each other's feelings, and no grandbabies. She's not ready to be a grandma just yet, and the couple agrees. Sully pays Dushane a visit to find out what he knows about Jeffery's death, and he says to Dushane, have you seen what's going on in the news? And Dushane's like, nah. He's like, yeah, Jeffery's gone. And Dushane's straight like, oh, okay, yeah, it must be Lizzie and them. And Sully knows that it ain't no Lizzie. He knows it's him. He said, if it was you... Dushane tries to shut it down, but we all know he knows as well it was him. They go on to discuss business, and Sully lets him know that by the time everything is done with the food that they've now got from the Irish, which Dushane makes it a point to remind Sully that half of that is his. He says, yep, half of it is yours, and once he gets that back to him, their business is done. Dushane questions Sully, asking him where is he going to get the supply from once this food has been moved, and Sully lets him know, don't worry about me, worry about your story, what you're going to tell the police when it comes to Jeffery. A polite way of saying, mind your business. As Sully leaves Dushane, he gets a call from Antonia letting him know that they have been robbed. He gets in the car straight away to make his way there. Now we are back with Jack, Bex and Jack's nephew. Jack makes a call to Kieran letting him know that she needs to have a word with him and they need to meet at the garages. Kieran says say less. Now we are with Stefan and Sai, and they are doing gun training, and I'm not really feeling this. Why are you teaching the youth? Why don't you be teaching him something to do with some finances, like some property? Don't be teaching him these things. And Sai was getting a bit too excited. You ready to gun down a man? You ready? And then Steph's there like, yeah. I'm just like, no, I'm not feeling this one bit. You're going to bring him into more rubbish. We don't need this. We don't need this training at all. Back at the house, Sully is livid. He realizes that both of the bags are gone, and he says to Antonia, both the bags, and she says, yes, I'm sorry. He tells her to shut up. He don't want to hear it. He is mad. Then we see Jack and Kieran. They have met up, and that is where she shows him the bags. He says to Jack, oh, Sully didn't say anything about moving the bags. And that's when it dawns on him that no, this hasn't been moved. Jack has robbed Sully. Can you imagine? You can see the devastation on his face. And just as Jack is explaining that, you know, it was too late for Lauren, but it's not too late for her nephew, which I'm guessing are the motivations as to why she's done this move, he gets a call from Sully. He can't even answer it right now because he knows that this is all mad, and that is where the episode ends. I feel like this episode was just a bit of a filler. It's getting you prepared for what's to come in the next 2 episodes. It was just moving the story along in terms of seeing how Stefan and Erin's relationship has developed. Also seeing now that things are going to be looking really sticky for Dushane now that the police are involved and they have a print. So it's going to come back to him very, very quickly. Sully getting robbed by Jack for me was absolutely so left field. I was not expecting it at all, and I don't get why Jack done it. I know that she's going through a lot. Maybe seeing the way that woman was living with her child, it just really just topped it off for her, because she's starting to realize that what they're doing is having an effect on their community. And you saw that Jack really felt it when she left that home, because she was crying, she was in tears. She said to Kieran, just take me home. And then that is when she had the idea all the madness to go and rob Sully. It just makes sense now why she was asking Kieran those questions. She wanted to know exactly what house that was at, and she probably knows all of the information. Why? Because she's part of the squad. Sully, it's not gonna take him long to work out what's really going on. We will see in the next episode. I'm going to give this episode 6. I'm gonna give it 6 boys out of 10. I thought it was an okay episode. For me, I just think, why JAQ, why? But all of this is just going to set up what is going to happen in the next 2 episodes. But yes, people, that was Top Boy Season 3, Episode 4. The food is killing us. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Do you think it made sense, JAQ, doing this? For me, it didn't make sense at all. And also, why are you bringing Kieran involved in it? I can't even talk properly. JAQ, why are you involving Kieran? Anyway, you're going to see in the next episode what happens there. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you are notified when the next episodes are out. Stay blessed, and yeah, I will catch you in the next Top Boy review. Don't know, boy. People don't know. I just want to enjoy my day.